We have a whole collection of tests covering all aspects of the Total Agility platform. Um, but what we found is that although they're all required and they ensure that the system is running smoothly, that there are some specific use cases that seem to be recurring, and that we our clients come back to us and say, yeah, no, here's one thing that's really important to us. Or even before our clients have used it, they've come to us and said, we need a system that will do this for us. So that really drives exactly how we develop and how we extend our platform. We get use cases, we build out the tests, we build out the resources to cover all of those different scenarios that our clients have. First one is around transaction performance. So it's really looking at how users interacting with things like workspace or designer, how the system is actually performing for them, and when they're encountering problems, how do we know about that as an administrator? So what you can see on the screen at the moment is the Reveille user console, and this is where we do this investigation. This is where we'll go in and we'll start to find out, when things are going wrong. So if we drill down a level, we're getting into the Reveille monitors. And a monitor is really just a structure that looks at a particular part of environment. So you might have a monitor for performance. You might have one for application processing, one for import, one for license use. Or in this case, what we've done is I've put them all in together, and we're having a bad day. We're having a bad day with our Total Agility environment. As you can see there, we've got multiple warnings. And we have an issue with our import connector, our email folder item count. We've got a couple of issues on performance, transaction performance, and looking at core worker locked activities. And we also have one on licensing. Our license count is dropped below a predefined level. Hopefully, you won't encounter all of these things at the same time. So this is not a realistic scenario that you're going to have everything in day one and it's all going to appear. But what we're doing here in the demo point of view is I want to show you all of the different use cases and how potentially we can address those. Now, in the background, how we built this monitor out is within the Reveille admin client. And this is where we build out those tests. So if we go in here, we can see the actual tests that are picking up these particular use cases. So if you think about the first one I talked about was transaction performance. Here we can see that test, and we can see that it's issuing out. We have one for worker locked activities. We can also see the email folder item count test and the license page available count. So those are the tests that are flagging up their issues on the system, and they directly are what's shown within the user console here. Now, it's not just about this flagging up and showing within the monitor. What we can also have whenever we encounter one of these issues with one of these use cases is a notification. We can have the ability to have a ticket in the ticketing system telling us something's gone down. We could have an email notification coming through. We could have a text message if required telling us that there's something that we need to do on the system, whether that be we manually do something or whether Reveille automatically does something for us. And I'll come on to that in just a moment. We also have the capability to have a dashboard that's associated with this. So if we go in and look here, we've got a Total Agility folder, and within this, we've got a Total Agility performance dashboard. Now, the dashboard really just reflects, it's a visualization of the data we're gathering on each of these different systems. So again, in this instance, I've included all of those use cases within this one dashboard. So here you can see the transaction performance, the import monitoring, the system processing, and the license use. Again, we've got other things within this dashboard as well. If we scroll down here, we can see back-end things like SQL query times, memory usage, disk use, CPU usage. We can look at things like exporting, how long it's taking, or number of searches we've carried out, etc. So we've got a whole load of information on this particular dashboard. But what's interesting, as soon as I get one of these issues that are flagged, I can have the dashboard generated as a report and sent to me. So in that first instance, in that first use case, this transaction performance, we can see here that as these transactions are taking place, we're getting an average time for transaction length. And you can see on this one, I've got a what we call an evaluation against that transaction time. So it tells me if it takes over 2 seconds to run a particular transaction, flag that up. I need to do something about it. And that's exactly what this is doing. It's flagged it up. We can see that within the monitor. So the performance monitor is telling us that there's an issue. And there's a couple of issues, and I'll come on to the second one in just a moment. But it's telling us that we've got that issue. And then we also have the capability to do something about it. So if I go into the admin client and I look at performance, within here, I have what we call proactive actions. So in this case, if I have that transaction, I know that there's an issue with my Total Agility core services. So in this instance, if I encounter that performance issue, I know that restarting that service will address that issue. It may be temporarily, it might only fix it for a day or two, so it's really only a workaround potentially, but at least it keeps the system running for my end users. So not only now have I been notified that there's a performance issue, I've that's been flagged up with me, a report's come to me and it's shown me that performance issue via email. The system has automatically restarted those core services to ensure that performance issue is addressed. That workaround is deployed, and it provides a resolution to that particular use case.